Beacon, Fridays at 6:30 EST, with your hosts Michaeldseville and Joel Simmons. A channel whose focus is liberty. A place where the lessons discussed and taught will create openings to a more open and freer mindset. A mindset where you may reach the height of your potential and excel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Joel.
Oh my gosh.
We back again. Another pre-tape episode, but we making it happen. We appreciate you guys for checking in each and every Friday. If you're watching it this Friday, it's 6:30. It's 2 days before Christmas. It's the 23rd, 1 day before the most important day of the year, which is my birthday, the 24th. I appreciate you all for checking
Happy
in.
birthday, Mike. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, man.
I appreciate it. It's not, you only turn 23 once. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's right. One time, Mike. Remember one time.
So we appreciate you guys. Community Beacon each and every Friday. I'm Mike Seville, your real estate guy here in Northern Palm Beach County. Of course, you have the co-host with the most. He's a little bright right now. He got a little bit bright. I think that's the heaven shining down on him with the Tenacity Foundation. My brother from another mother, Mr. Joe Simmons. Brother, how are you doing today?
Absolutely magnificent. Absolutely. I'm here in the room with two of my brothers. How can I not be good? How can I not be good?
Listen, guys, we got a special guest in the background. So I appreciate the brother being here as well, brother.
Yeah. Should I introduce him for a minute or what?
Yeah, go ahead, introduce him.
All right, brother, go ahead. Go ahead and say something. You on the mic, man.
Oh man, I'm happy to be here, man. It's Yuri Jenkins, man. I'm happy to be here.
It's always good to hear the brother voice, man. I haven't heard his voice in a while, so when I do get to hear it, I definitely appreciate it, man. Shouts out to our special guests in the background listening to the show and supporting us. So that's definitely appreciated. Much gratitude to the brother Yuri over there in the background. Guys, it's Community Beacon. Let me get this housekeeping out of the way. Remember to like, subscribe, share, depending on whatever platform you're on. Somebody might want to pick up what we're putting down. I'm telling you, it's gems. Last week was a fire episode, so if you didn't get a chance to watch When Giving Hurts, in that retrospect, please go back and check out that episode. Of course, we'll talk about today some of the things that we have going on during the week that you might want to check out. What it takes every Monday, right around 9 o'clock. I'm dropping that episode. We're talking about executing. Can you imagine someone talking about actually moving around during this holiday season and making things happen? Holiday season doesn't stop. As a matter of fact, you should double down on whatever it is that you need to double down on. This is a great time to do it. People want to hear from you. Double down on your skills. It's time for you to make a difference. What it takes each and every Monday, we're talking about execution, being the excellence of the execution. Of course, we got on Wednesdays. It starts with who, brother?
It starts with me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So we are back again, and we have Mistral. She's gonna be back again for another day with us. I think we just kept talking, bro. I mean, honestly, this lady she's a sweetheart. She's great, absolutely magnificent. And so, as a matter of fact, the way that I met her was kind of like, we were trying to figure out if I was going to sell her a program or she was going to sell me a program, if I was going to be her coach or she going to be my coach. And we got on the screen and we both were so authentic that we just started talking. And she was like, let me go ahead and cut the recorder off. I normally record this for all people that I'm going to end up coaching, but let's just talk. And we had a talk out, and I was like, listen, you got to be on my show, period. So that's how we developed our friendship. Y'all will love her.
I love it, guys. I love, I like for the brother to collect money, collect checks. I'm all for that, and he knows that I'm the one that's going to tell him about it. But money is just a tool. When you're exchanging value for value, anything is liable to happen. Money is just a part of what we can use in order to in regards to bartering and getting to the next level. So when two people can come together and create some type of synergy where 1 + 1 = 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it multiplies. Right. It's a beautiful thing. So good. Check the brother out. Check out Mistral. Check out the brothers interviewing Mistral on Wednesday. It starts with me. This is the second episode, so it had to be good for them to do it twice, right? And of course, we culminate our weeks on Fridays at 6:30 right here where you're checking in with the Community Beacon. And we're going to jump right into our show. The title of today's show is If You Don't Have Enough Money. We could have came up with a better phrase, but it's fine. Should I charge it?
Should I charge it?
It could have been just, should I charge it? We just wrote the entire thing out there in the thing, but it's fine. Should I charge it might be the actual name of the episode. And maybe we're a little bit late. Maybe this should have been like the first of the month or the first Friday, the second Friday. Because I'm sure by now, if you could have charged it, they probably already charged it. But hey, it doesn't just have to be during Christmas. It could be for other people's birthday, not mine. So there's no question. Just go ahead and charge it for my birthday. But everything else that's going on, maybe we have a good conversation about that. And I love this conversation. The brother is definitely getting into his business, one side of his business where he does talk about financials, etc. And I'm in the housing business. It's all about financials. I get to see people's financials. I get to see what's exactly going on under the hood with a lot of my clients, potential clients, and prospects. And if they're not able to buy a home, to actually guide them in the right direction. And I've kind of feel of myself as just being holistic in nature. I turn down deals when I feel like it's not the right thing for the client. And if they want to do it with someone else, that's fine. But I can't sleep right if if I don't think they're getting the better end of it. I know it's their decision, but there's certain times, there's certain things where I'm just taking a step back and saying, this may not be the right time. And I don't want you to come back 6 months down the line and come looking for me, right? So right. Brother, let's get into it. How should we preface this? I mean, it's Christmas, man. So I'm sure we at all times, we both have children, we both have family members, etc. Well, we may feel the financial pressures and just the peer pressure, the pressure of the season to kind of, I guess, go above what we possibly should be our budget, going over our budget and end up, taking one, maybe we took a step forward and Christmas will send you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps back when you talk about charging it. So what's your experience with it?
I definitely agree with you. And I think that it's all about like the value, right? It comes down to the value, because if I was going to sit down and hear like you speak, I'm gonna sit down and hear you speak and teach me on real estate, but I don't have any money. But this is like my last shot at learning. Say I'm in real estate. This is my last shot at learning real estate, and everybody understands that Mike has a program that will help me get to where I need to be. Then I may actually consider charging that. But right. If I'm going to go and buy a brand new PlayStation for my kid and throw myself back, 3-4 months because I can't afford a $599 piece of equipment that is going to program my child to become a different person, right? Every single video game programs your child to become a different person. You have to go and unprogram that program that you paid for. So that's a serious commitment that you're doing, and a lot more work, because if your child ends up not wanting to do work at school, you're going to have to go back there and help that kid refocus and get off that video game, and so now you got to work overtime to help draw your child off of a video game because you don't want to do math, and you got to work overtime. So now you're not even there to know if he's doing his homework or if he's playing a video game. Then you also got stress that may be coming from your wife because the kid is, say I got to go to the restroom, and he sneak off to his bedroom and he playing Madden or he playing, World War or something like that for 5-10 minutes. And when he comes back to the table, he don't know how to do his math. and he gives her a hard time. So now you are paying for that in your debt. You're paying for that in your time, extra time at work. You're paying for that in the arguments with your wife. You're paying for that in the disobedient child. That's a whole lot. Should I charge it? I think not. I think he needs to go without that video game, because it's very important to have that father figure inside the house that is guiding that child, rather than as trying to pay off the debt collector because he doesn't want, something bad to happen, his credit to go bad, and for him not to be able to do something that he really needs to do for his family. That's one aspect. What you say?
I say you went down a rabbit hole. I thought it was going to end up in the street game because of the purchase. But I get it. I mean, so we do have it, and I'm also not I'm not so far past the time when remembering to just be empathetic from the child's point of view in regards to having it. I think when it comes to these different things is preparation. I think preparation for the season is huge. So as men, let's talk about us being men. As men, we need to prepare for the future. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important for us to prepare for the future. And if you're not prepared for the future, then perhaps you need to do some more creative thinking as opposed to buying that PlayStation game. One of the things you touched on, which I love, brother, was having the conversation with everyone, and when we're talking to you all, we're talking to ourselves. Is an investment versus spending versus expenses. Like these are three different tiers. So when you get around to this Christmas time, like the brother's saying, or any time for that matter, when you get around any time, we need to figure out the investments. What's the possible return on that? An investment should have a return on it. So now we can kind of calculate that and see if it's the right time. Because sometimes, in that case of the real estate person, now there's a lot of creative ways. But mindset is huge. Are you in the right space? Because even if you have the $1,000, it could go to nothing. I don't know the statistics. I want to say it's like 90% of people don't get past the first lesson in the course. Just like 90% of people don't get past the first chapter in a book. You know what I mean? Like these numbers are crazy because you're not necessarily in the right mindset for it. But let's say you do plan on doing it. Okay, so this is an investment for my future because there's a return on it. Spending. That game, if we're taking it from that aspect of this guy doesn't want to become a full-time gamer, and kids, it's work. Them full-time gamers.
Hold on. Stop the whole show.
Them full-time gamers work. You might want to game.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Stop the show. Every single time y'all have heard Mike say, "Boy, Joel, that was a mic drop. Joel, that was a mic drop. Just stop it. Stop the recording, Anna. Joel, that was a mic." Let me tell y'all something. Mike, that was a mic drop right there. Oh my gosh. Say it again, man.
Well, we're going from the investments. Investments, you want a return on it, right? Just going back to it. And then we want spending. The spending that's that game. Unless you want to be a gamer, then we're saying that was an investment. But guys, remember that gaming is work. It's almost like I remember I played basketball. I loved to play basketball. Middle school, I loved to play basketball. 8th grade, I played for the team. I got to the 9th grade, and they put me in that gym. That gym was like a work camp. I used to hate the smell of the gym. I hated the smell of the basketball. I love the game, but it became work. It was like, oh, this is what you got to do when you get to the next level. Oh, I got to run this much. I got to, discipline. I mean, I remember one time the coach ran me until my arm hurt. If you ever got ran until your arm hurts, you know how much running that is because your arm starts to hurt. So, but we're talking about the spending. So that's spending. Then you have your expenses. You still let me tell you, FP&L still want the payment.
Yeah.
Your mortgage company or your rent man, your landlord still want the payment. I'm a landlord. I got you. Oh, it's Christmas time.
Yep.
I hear you.
Yep.
I hear you. Maybe you don't need to buy little Johnny this bicycle. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, because or you need to become a little bit more creative. That's why I get back to the point of just being prepared for the holidays, because you might not necessarily have to charge it. And let's say you do decide to charge it. I'm empathetic, guys. I understand there's a lot of pressure coming around Christmas time. Have a way to pay it off, man. Figure out a way. Maybe you need to take an extra job. Maybe you need to sell some things that you're not necessarily using before. My mother one time gifted me the same gift like twice in a row because I didn't use it the first time. I went in the tree and there it was again. You know what I mean? So it's like, so maybe go look at some of the stuff that they didn't even take out of the box. Hey, listen, wrap that thing up and put it right back under the Christmas tree. One thing we spoke about last year around this time, and I think it's worthy of us bringing it up again. Guys, if you go check out last year we had fire episodes as well. We had a lot of fun last year during this time. One thing that we spoke about last year was that, and let's think about this. When you were 10, what was the gift that you got? I'm asking our audience. When you were 10, what was the gift that you got? When you were 12, what was the gift that you got? When you were 8, 13, 4, I don't know, pick a number. What was the gift that you got? 99% of the time, you don't even remember. But you do remember the time spent. You remember mom sitting next to the tree looking at you, smiling and creating those memories. You remember dad being there, whatever socks y'all gave him that year, him taking out the socks and just shaking his head. You know what I mean? You remember my mother used to make these cakes, these black Jamaican black cakes. I remember the Jamaican black cakes. I remember these different traditions that we had. So instead of necessarily having to get the PlayStation, and I don't want to demonize PlayStation because I like the PlayStation, but what I want to say is that create a tradition. And if you do get the PlayStation, make it about you and the child playing it that day, or the Wii or something. Make it a family thing. Hey, put it out here on the big screen in the living room. Every Christmas after Christmas, we got this game. I got your new game. We're going to figure out how to play. Whether you whoop me in it or I'll whoop you in it, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're going to make this tradition. Make a tradition. Make a meal. Something simple. That way, this is where these kids are going to take. This is the legacy you're creating. That gift, that PlayStation is not the legacy. It's not the thought that's going to come up. What's going to come up is, hey, I remember Jonah saying, I remember when dad was there and he had that hat that he always wore during Christmas time or something. And he had that hat. I remember when dad had that hat. Yeah, dad gave me that hat. So I'm going to take this hat and this is what I'm going to do when I have my kids, etc. Something small as that, right? These are kind of the legacy things that we need to create, brother.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. And it's not about the PlayStation. The only point that I was making, I believe Mike agrees with me, was that if that PlayStation is going to cause you to not be able to pay the landlord, and so you're going to put it on credit just because you got the credit, this is a bad game. It's a bad game of balance because it's going to eventually catch up. So let me leave this one thing because Mike says so much, but let me leave this one thing. I'm gonna leave you the first rule of wealth. All right, the first rule of wealth. And so for me and Mike, we both we're believers. So I pay my tithe. I give a 10th to tithe. That's what I do. First rule of wealth is think about this. If you give God a 10th, think about this. Think about this for all the believers out there. If you give God a 10th, and he is God, and now remember the scripture, he owns the cattle upon 1,000 hills. And the thought process is, if God owns the cattle upon 1,000 hills, which this is a symbolic of infinite hills, right? What is it for him to give you a cow or a calf or some ribs or some milk or whatever? What is it for him to give that when he owns the cattle upon 1,000 hills, which is the symbol of infinite wealth, right? That's the symbol of infinite wealth, right? So if he owns that and he requires a 10th so that there may be meat inside of his house, then think about that for a moment. Why don't you require a 10th for yourself?
Absolutely.
So that there may be meat inside of your house. That's a big thought, but if we start thinking like that, because that's what Malachi talks about. He says, bring ye the tithes so that there may be meat in the storehouse. So that means if I'm following God and God requires a tenth so that there may be meat in my spiritual storehouse, then I need to reserve a tenth so that there may be meat in my natural storehouse. If you do this, first rule of wealth, if you do this, then I guarantee from January to December, you will be ready for whatever you need to buy in December. Guaranteed.
Or just pay yourself. I love that thought process. And it's not hard. You know, we didn't get this knowledge. You're getting it now. So let's take advantage of it. Guys, time well spent. Shout out to our special guest Yuri for being with us during this time. Man, Community Beacon is the 23rd. Tomorrow, the 24th. God has been good. He continues to be good to us. We appreciate you all for checking in. You guys have the happiest, the merriest of Christmas. Yeah, have the merriest of Christmas, guys. Enjoy it with your family. It just, you know, I spoke about traditions. Just take that first time. And it doesn't have to be huge, right? Remember, make some memories with your children. Love on them. Love on your family. Love on your spouses. Love on your parents. Everyone, just have a great Christmas. Be safe, ultimately. Man, and I definitely appreciate you guys.
Love it. Love it. Don't be a Scrooge. Love on them. Love on them. Love on them. Love on them. And don't charge yourself out of your own house.
Absolutely.
All right? We out of here. See us again on the next week. Peace.